GMGM, we're here with a little soundbite clip with CK from Injective, home of the first perps on pre-IPO that were powered by SEDA. Great to have you on, CK. How you doing, man?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me, Matt. I really appreciate it.
No, absolutely. I'm really glad to get some time to talk to you guys. I mean, you guys have been cooking, like I said, the first perps on pre-IPO, which is kind of going to be the meat of the conversation today. Very excited to dive into that. But Web3 is a noisy place. There's lots of brands, lots of names. I'd love to just frame this conversation first with a little bit of the backstory on Injective and kind of like what's the big vision for Injective.
Injective is the first and only blockchain built specifically for finance. So pretty much every other blockchain out there will have applications or smart contracts that will allow you to do financial things, but Injective was built specifically with financial applications in mind. Injective was really built specifically for finance and specifically for trading futures. Of course, we allow spot trading. We have different types of futures. We have expiry, we have binary options, but the main thing and the main focus of our exchange right now is on perpetual futures. And we currently process somewhere between 50 to $100 million a day in volume across our exchange. Yeah, like you mentioned, the first and only place right now where you could trade pre-IPO companies with leverage on chain instantly anywhere in the world without having to sign up for an account and share all of your information with a third party.
I've now launched three perps on pre-IPOs that are powered by SEDA on SEDA feeds. It's SpaceX, correct me if I'm wrong, OpenAI, and Anthropic.
Yeah, it's really exciting. We started with OpenAI. We followed it up with Anthropic just to have a little bit of a sort of competition going between the two, and then we listed SpaceX because we're living in Elon's world. Because of you guys, we were able to offer the first perpetual futures markets on private equity companies, which is really cool and really exciting. Because of the data provided through Caplight, the upstream provider, we were able to essentially choose from dozens, if not, I believe, over 100 different companies. And the cool thing about these prices is, unlike some other competitors who will simply list a share price as of the most recent funding round, the data that we get through you guys includes things like secondaries and bids and offers and actual interest in a particular security. So, and we're looking to do a couple of more as well. These have been incredibly well received. People are really excited about them. People are trading them. Not only can you long them, you could also short them, which is pretty cool because if you follow somebody like Michael Burry, for example, like he thinks that we're in a huge AI bubble. Great, come on Helix and short with 5x leverage.
Yeah, I mean, you guys actually had some pretty exciting metrics when they first went live. Take this with a grain of salt because it was maybe a few weeks ago, but I believe you had over $1 million in volume in the first 24 hours on SpaceX, right?
Pretty much all of our private equity perps see about $1 million to $2 million a day in volume. So we're seeing quite a bit of activity. We're seeing quite a bit of new users coming in to trade these products because, again, it's the only place in the world you could trade them. So I'm not going to come on here and say that if you want to trade Bitcoin with leverage, that you have to come over to Injective to trade Bitcoin with leverage. Of course, it's something we offer and it's something we'll always offer, but it's not a unique product that you can't find elsewhere. But these private equity perps are indeed a unique product. Anybody can come over to Injective from any chain with just a couple of clicks. Our new bridge supports over 100 different chains. So you can come over with just a couple of different clicks and you can start trading within seconds and get access to these assets that are not available literally anywhere else in the world.
What was the thinking behind this? Maybe 3 or 4 months ago, 5 months ago, people were like talking about it, but it was mainly how you can't do this, and like it's a great idea. But Injective's gone ahead and done it. What was kind of the thinking to bring these pre-IPO perps on chain?
The biggest blocker and probably the main reason other organizations have not been able to offer the same product is they haven't figured out the market making aspect of it. I don't think anybody's sitting there scratching their head thinking, how do we get the data on chain? How do we list the asset? I don't think anybody is really worried about that because that's really the easy part. The hard part really is in the traditional finance side of things, as ironic as that is. The easy part for this was getting data through you fine folks, right? Just tapping into your data stream from Caplight, getting that data on chain and getting it to update in a reliable fashion. That was easy. Listing the asset, that was easy. Hardest part, market making. So something that is consistent across all exchanges, whether you're centralized, decentralized, whether you're an extremely large player or you're an extremely small player, one of the hardest things in running an exchange is getting reliable liquidity at all times. Because what happens with liquidity when the market starts getting choppy? Well, liquidity disappears. And when do you need liquidity the most? When the market gets choppy. So we have to work through really sort of clever and innovative ways to encourage market makers to provide liquidity on assets. We have a market maker incentive program called the Open Liquidity Program. It's where we reward institutional liquidity providers for their uptime, their depth, and their spread on the platform.
That's actually a good segue, because you mentioned before that retail has obviously been pretty receptive to this, to having perps on pre-IPO. But Injective, you mentioned earlier that it's built specifically for financial applications. Are you seeing like bigger institutions that are on chain already coming over or showing interest in accessing these as an asset class?
So definitely interest. I don't know if they're there yet, but I had a call recently with a 9-figure asset manager who literally said to me verbatim, I have 100 million plus of exposure to OpenAI. I would love to be able to hedge some of it. How can I do that? And this is somebody who has no crypto background. They don't know anything about Injective. They don't know anything about crypto in general. They wouldn't know how to use a bridge, right? And I was able to show them within, basically 60 seconds how you can bridge funds over to Injective and start hedging your exposure. Now, depending on the size you want to hedge, you might not get filled on something that huge. But the nice thing about it is if you want to place an order for a large block and somebody else sees that, then they might come in and match you. And that's something that we're really, really working hard on. It's not just a deep order book for retail traders, but we're working on a roster of institutional players who might want to fill in a large order. So just sort of just a little hint of what might be to come with the new product offering.
I want to zoom out a little bit though, because obviously you guys leading the way on chain for the pre-IPO perps, and it's great to hear that there's people that are looking like they've definitely got interest in that as a product. But I want to kind of pick your brain personally, because you've obviously been working in this industry for a very long time. You've been building with Injective for a very long time, but you have a very good grasp on sort of wider RWAs like TradFi assets, whether it's stocks, ETFs, commodities. And what's your take? There's a lot of talk, a lot of hype around like RWAs, stocks coming on chain, all these kind of things. We'll be talking with you guys about bringing them on 24/7 as well down the line. But I kind of want to pick your brain. Where do you see it as a reality? Like who's going to be accessing these as an asset? How do they make sense on chain? Is the marketing correct, or are we overinflating it?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we were also a pioneer in RWAs on chain. So I can find the exact date for you, but it was well over a year ago where we listed various different RWAs, even before equities. So we had, and we still have, gold, silver, as well as the euro and the pound. And on FX, we offer 100x leverage, and on metals, we offer 50x leverage, and we also offer 50x leverage on oil. So it's pretty exciting. We were one of the first places to offer it. We still offer it, and those are actually among our most popular pairs for obvious reasons, if you see what's been going on with gold recently. And more importantly, and you just hinted at it, for equities, we're really looking forward to being the first in the industry to offer 24/5 or even 24/7 pricing on equities. So again, thanks to you guys, what we're doing is, since you've added this programmability layer on top of Pyth, which is a longtime partner of ours, and they have this partnership now with Blue Ocean where they're getting pre-market, after hours, and overnight pricing, is you guys have been able to create one unified feed for these 4 different prices, get them into one, and then we're in the process now, and it'll be ready in a couple of days. So that it might actually be live by the time people are seeing this.
That's super exciting. And actually, I think we teased the first look at the dashboards to show the feed ticking for 24/7 that, like you said, is wrapped on Pyth. I'm actually super excited for this collaboration with Pyth, because this is, like you said, they've got great data partnerships straight from the source. You guys have been working with them for years, but this is like a little bit of programmability on top, and it really unlocks a lot of different use cases, which I want to also zoom out again. Just like one final question, just sort of this is your opportunity to sort of shill me the Injective vision, right? Because you guys have pre-IPO perps. You've been testing like some other use cases that we touched on, perps on prediction markets. You were the pioneers of RWAs on chain. You've been building for a long time specifically for these use cases. 24/5 feeds, 24/7 feeds just around the corner. And my marketing brain's like, is this the house of RWA finance? Like, what does Injective look like 6, 12 months from now?
Fantastic question. The long and short of it is anyone should be able to trade anything at any time on Injective. And whether that's pairs that we've created as a team and we are sourcing liquidity from institutional liquidity providers for, or if it's a pair that somebody else decides that they want to trade and they bootstrap the market, they stand it up, whether it's a spot market, it's a perp market, it's a predictions market, it's a binary options market, it's expiry futures. You should be able to trade anything at any time, anywhere, without restrictions. And very soon in the pipeline, there'll be some other ways of doing this through some maybe new and exciting mobile apps, maybe some social and gamified trading experiences will be coming soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
How do people get involved? Because I always thought of Injective as like an ecosystem when I first found it, but I think like the best front door is probably Helix Markets right now. I mean, is that the best way to get involved with Injective?
Yeah, so we just went live with our native EVM integration. And with that, a bunch of different partners, I think between 30 and 40 different partners, were able to natively integrate with Injective through EVM. So instead of having to learn WASM and you know learn a completely new programming stack and new tools and applications, they were able to just completely integrate with the same technology and same tools as integrating on Ethereum or an L2. So now there's a whole lot more as of just this week. But aside from that, to interact with our exchange, your best bet is probably to just go on helixapp.com and start trading there. If you're more technically inclined, we've got a bunch of different tools available for you to be able to not only trade, but also you can stand up your own exchange if you want. Because we have a shared liquidity layer that is available to anybody who interacts with our exchange module, you can actually start your own perp dex in less than 5 minutes and then earn 40% of all the trading fees routed through your perp dex. And you don't need to bootstrap any liquidity because of the shared liquidity layer. So you can create your own version, your own perpetual futures exchange on Injective in less than 5 minutes, or you can go on helixapp.com and you can trade there. Would be more than happy to have you.